Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
Samples, we will get a clearer idea of our repair strategy. Please know that we're determining the best course of action for getting this bridge back open as quickly and as safely as possible.
A mile-long portion of a major roadway in Southern California remains closed tonight following a massive fire over the weekend. Investigators are now saying the fire is likely arson. The freeway used by 300,000 vehicles daily, and the closure is expected to be felt well beyond the city, including possibly slowing the transport of goods. We'll have more on this coming up in your news from across the nation here on CBS7 News at 9. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Hendricks, and thanks to those of you joining us on our CBS7 YouTube page. We start tonight with continuing coverage on the Ector County Utility District. This morning, ECUD held a special meeting to elect Tommy Brown to fill the remainder of former President Tommy Irvin's term. That appointment comes after the board motioned to postpone choosing a candidate last week. That happened in a meeting that some residents were unable to join due to an occupancy limit. The board says it had to move forward due to a vote that didn't carry during the last meeting. Ector County Judge Dustin Fawcett is seeking an Attorney General opinion for clarity. Fawcett believes the board violated Texas government and water codes and the Open Meetings Act. He is asking the county attorney to join him in filing for an opinion, which will hopefully give the county a clear way to address these concerns.
I was not aware that it would take more than 2 people to pass it. Sheila did not vote for it. I assumed I was not allowed to vote. Later, I was instructed by our attorney that it did not carry.
Brown was notified by phone during the meeting that he was selected. Residents were concerned they weren't able to attend, but also with a little time given to gather more applications.
I was under the impression, that was the meeting we were locked out of, I was under the impression we were going to wait 30 days, take applications, and then find the most qualified person.
The complicated nature of the situation and clarity needed for enforcement is why Fawcett is seeking the Attorney General's opinion. He plans to submit his request by the end of the week. CBS7 will, of course, continue to update you as this story develops. Tracking crime now, 28-year-old James Lee Miller was arrested for murdering 37-year-old John Wilkinson. That's according to our media partners, KBest Media in Big Spring. Howard County Sheriff's deputies responded to Scenic Mountain Medical Center over the weekend, where Wilkerson died after being shot. Investigators believe the two were involved in some kind of altercation that led to that shooting. Miller's bond has been set at $750,000. Now to an update on a story we brought you over the weekend. You're looking at the aftermath of a truck crashing into a utility pole and a gas meter at University and West County Road in Odessa. Power was out in the area for several hours, according to the city. This man you're about to see, 19-year-old Fernando Medrano, crashed into the pole and ran away. Odessa police say they found him and arrested him for driving while intoxicated and leaving the scene of an accident. Tracking crime across the nation, California Governor Gavin Newsom says arson likely caused a massive fire that indefinitely closed a vital section of a Los Angeles freeway. The closure is expected to affect the entire nation, with the road being a major hub for the travel of goods between 2 ports. Those ports are among the nation's largest and handle more than half of the goods coming into the U.S. However, Governor Newsom says that initial analysis of the bridge looked more promising than first feared, but cautioned that more analysis must be done before determining the fate of that roadway.
We are in a parallel path looking at both repair and looking at the prospects of replace. Remember, that outcome will be determined on one basis, on one principle. That's safety, not just speed.
For now, commuters in Los Angeles are being urged to either work from home or take public transportation. It's time now to talk your weather forecast. It's been a wet weekend. We had some cool weather and some showers, and some of that now moving to the east. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teever-Teller joins us now. Tom, any more rain in that forecast?
Looks like the rain's starting to move out of the area, but we did see some healthy amounts across West Texas and southeast of Mexico. Take a look at this, seen upwards to about 4/10 of an inch right across the Permian Basin, 5/100ths in Big Spring, but it really picked up the further south you get, 6/10 of an inch in Fort Stockton, nearly half an inch in Alpine, and the big winner, Dryden, 1.35 inches, nearly an inch in Big Lake. But as you can see, we're starting to look at most of the rain move out of the area. Still have some low clouds out there. There could be some drizzle form up, so we're watching out for that. Overnight tonight, the possibility of some patchy fog in the forecast too. As we look outside though, clearing up a little bit in Big Spring right now, but still kind of wet out there as we're looking at temperatures right at 50 in Big Spring, lower 50s for everybody else, but a little cooler. Marfa 49, 46 there at Guadalupe Pass. And visibilities right now have improved except over towards the pass are right at 0. 2-mile visibility to Alpine. So again, watching out for the possibility some patchy fog. People making holiday plans. Well, here's what we have coming up temperature-wise. A warm up this week before we see a little bit of a cool down coming up next week just in time for Thanksgiving.
Well, the temperature's cool. It's that time of year. Time for Tom's Coats. Temperatures have dropped and many West Texans are struggling to stay warm. That's why Chief Meteorologist Tom Teever-Teller is hosting his coat drive. CBS7 looking for gently used or new jackets or sweaters for the drive. You can donate jackets and coats at the locations you see listed right there on your screen. Within the last 6 months, Chef Alejandro of Curbside Bistro has expanded his menu to the Tall City. Over the weekend, the chef also had the opportunity to share his menu with people from all over the world. In fact, for the last 2 years, Chef Alejandro Barrientos has been working to compete on a world stage and represent West Texas. The chef competed in the bacon category up against 17 other chefs, including chefs from Australia and Korea. For Chef Alejandro, he says it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I would never thought we'd actually be able to compete on a world stage. And you're seeing all the kind of styles and how they talk to one another and how they actually work in the kitchen because everybody has their own style. So that was very amazing to see.
Chef made 2 dishes, a holiday-themed breakfast of cornbread stuffing with a poached egg and bacon-wrapped chicken with homemade cranberry sauce and a turkey bacon mushroom gravy. The second dish was bacon mac and cheese, which was a fan favorite of the contest. Chef finished 5th place in the bacon category for the entire world.
Yes, sir. We're already making plans. And since I got top 5 in the world dish round, I got my automatic invitation for next year. So I'm already involved in next year, time to start planning. And then there's a couple other, I'm trying to get into the burger category so I can get into that bacon, the burger category. So we'll see what happens.
By the way, if you want to try Chef's food from the competition, he plans on adding those dishes to his menu at Curbside Bistro. My time would come. That's what one Odessan told herself after starting a business 15 years ago in her mother-in-law's garage. Vanessa Morales has opened her business 3 separate times in 3 different location formats. But now, though, through the years of up and downs, she's built a business that she says she's proud of. The first item she sold was hair bows that she would buy pre-made and go door-to-door selling. When more requests came in for custom bows, she had to learn how to make the bows herself. Her business then grew and she started working with her sister-in-law, giving the business a permanent location together. But unfortunately, the storefront didn't stay open for long.
I was Vanessa's Closet, so I wanted to make sure that if I was to keep the business open that, I would be there 100%. So it got harder and harder to do that. So I just decided once again to focus on my family.
She eventually closed the shop in 2021 and took more time away before recently opening again, this time at vendor shows. Vanessa's Closet now runs out of her home and a mobile boutique that her husband custom built for her.
I've been her backbone, I've always, I built the stuff for her. I want this, I need this kind of rack. And I'm sitting there at 1 in the morning building something for her because she has a show the next day and stuff like that. So it's been a great experience.
If you would like to buy from Vanessa's Closet, her next showing will be at the Parks Legato later this month. Looking in the community now, Fields Edge is celebrating almost a year since they built home pods for people who were homeless. This evening, people across the area got a chance to meet some of the people that call the Fields Edge home. In fact, the Fields Edge hosted a harvest festival tonight with vendors, live music, and even a petting zoo. But the main goal of the festival was for members of the community to see a solution to an issue that many people in Midland may not know about.
There are over 250 homeless people in Midland, Texas right now. And we've built this place to bring people off the streets and into a community of people that care about them. And so we really want our city and our community to know that we're here and to know that we have a lot more homes to build.
The first members to join this village came in December of last year, so nearing that anniversary was an open invitation for people across the area to come and check out the small village and meet some of the people that weren't as fortunate as others who are now being given a second chance.
There are people here in Midland that come here that for whatever reason get derailed from their goals, and there needs to be more places like these tiny homes for people to live.
It's changed my life and enriched it with dinners and social gatherings.
At the moment, they have around 10 homes built, but they plan to expand and build around 90 in total. Now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers at CBS7.com. You can see all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. And still ahead, the deadline, I should say, to avoid a government shutdown is just days away. We'll tell you what the House is considering up next in your political news. That's coming up here on CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. Federal employees are closely watching what is happening on Capitol Hill this week as Congress needs to act, or else all except essential workers will go home. All federal employees will have to go without a paycheck just before the holidays. Natalie Brand has more details from Capitol Hill.
Congress has until this Friday to pass a spending bill to keep the government open. With lawmakers running right up to the deadline once again, federal employees are worried about their paychecks right before the holidays.
The vast majority make under $60,000 a year. They've got families to support. They've got kids to support.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has proposed a two-step stopgap measure to extend funding through January 19th for agencies including transportation, housing, agriculture, and energy. The other agencies, including Defense, Homeland Security, and State, would be funded through February 2nd.
There's nothing magical or mysterious about it. It would just be effectively two phases.
Already, the plan is facing pushback from some House GOP hardliners who are upset the proposal keeps funding at current levels and doesn't make cuts. Democrats have also criticized the plan, calling it a recipe for more shutdowns, and it does not include emergency aid for Israel, Ukraine, or the southern border, setting the stage for a separate fight.
I'm not going to make a judgment what I'd veto or what I'd sign, but let's wait and see what they come up with.
The Speaker's plan could come up for a vote in the House as early as Tuesday. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Offered by the guest chaplain.
With only 4 votes to spare, House Republicans may need support from House Democrats to pass the short-term spending plans. But working with Democrats to pass the last stopgap measure is what prompted some House Republicans to vote to ouster then Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Well, we are looking at things drying out across the Permian Basin as we're looking for better weather this week. A little less rain in the forecast and some milder temperatures that we'll talk about coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, a quiet evening out there as the rain has finally come to an end. Let's take a look at it here on our live iCam in Odessa, showing you a cloudy evening. So far, there are some low clouds out there, but we're not seeing much in the way of fog or drizzle develop across the area. But that's going to be a concern overnight tonight for some areas across the Permian Basin, Trans-Pecos, southeast of Mexico, and into the mountain areas. But you see the bulk of the rain has moved off to the east and really starting to thin out as temperatures again are on the cool to chilly side out there, especially you get in the mountains of Marfa Plateau. We're already dropping down into the upper 40s, but everybody should see that towards the early morning hours. Now, as we take a look at the weather makers, big disturbance right in here across portions of West Texas, moving off to the east, showers across portions of the big country, but also along the Texas Gulf Coast associated with this. There's a ridge of high pressure building back out to the west, and that's going to dominate our weather picture. It looks like coming up for the rest of the week. Right now across the state of Texas, though, we are looking at most of the rain really start to thin out a little bit. Still some from the heart of Texas, from around Brady, Brownwood, down towards areas into the Texas Hill Country. Also some scattered showers, thunder showers offshore of the Texas Gulf Coast at the present time as temperatures again starting to cool off a little bit, especially here across portions of West Texas. Now, the West Texas Futurecast shows again some low clouds, some patchy fog to wake up to first thing in the morning before we see things start to clear out by the afternoon, be replaced with mid to high level clouds on the way with some peaks of sunshine too in between. Rest of tonight, though, again, it's going to stay cloudy. Again, I won't rule out pockets of drizzle, maybe some patchy fog in the forecast towards morning. That should clear up by about noontime or so, and then partly cloudy skies by the afternoon, a little warmer by about 10 degrees or so into the lower 60s. 70s breaking out Thursday into Friday. Weekend travel looks pretty good, as we'll see just a few clouds but mild temperatures. And then travel for Thanksgiving week looks okay as another cold front will arrive. It'll drop temperatures, but right now things look rather dry as we move in towards Thanksgiving next week.
Coming up next, Jair Brooks Davis has more on local playoff football. Stick around for more after the break.
Now, sports with Jair Brooks Davis from the Ford Sports Desk.
It's a glorious time to be a UTPB Falcon, and it's also a glorious time to have the privilege to cover UTPB football over the past few months. The Falcons were projected to finish in the bottom part of the Lone Star Conference, but they surpassed expectations. They finished the season going 10-1, including an undefeated conference record, while also becoming nationally ranked. Right now, they are preparing to host Bemidji State in the Region 4 bracket of the Division II playoffs. For head coach Chris McCullough, winning the LSC title means a lot, but there is a much higher goal in mind.
The goal we have in mind right now is trying to compete at a national stage. That's why I took this job. I didn't want to just win a Lone Star championship. I felt like this program in the next 3 or 4 years can win a national championship, and I didn't think it would come year one where we'd have a shot at that. So that's going to be my goal. I don't want to just go to the playoffs and be 1 and done or 2 and done. I want to try to see how far this journey will take us.
Kickoff between UTPB and Bemidji State is this Saturday at 1 o'clock. We'll have the highlights and recap for you here on CBS7. And speaking of teams that are making the postseason tournament, earlier today, the Odessa College Lady Wranglers' volleyball team was sent off to Hutchinson, Kansas to compete in the Junior College Division I National Championships. They'll face College of Southern Idaho this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And in more local football, the Permian Panthers got their revenge from last year over the Pebble Hill Spartans this past Friday, as they claimed their first bi-district championship since 2021. Head coach Jeff Ellison is proud of the way his team battled through adversity this season and advanced further in the postseason.
Well, it feels great, and I'm just so excited for our kids and our coaches. Again, I know we've talked about it in the past, but the expectation for this team and going further than some of the teams in the past here at Permian have gone in a while. So just very, very satisfying for our kids of all the hard work and everything that they've done throughout this year. So just very happy for them.
Permian will be facing North Crowley this Friday at Shotwell Stadium in Abilene. I'll be there, and I'll have the highlights and a post-game recap. The Panthers are one of our 3 local 6A teams that have advanced to the area round of playoffs. Tomorrow we'll hear from Legacy head coach Clint Hartman and Midland High's Thad Fortune. Now that will do it for Sports at 10. Stick around. We've got more to come after the break.
Jair, thanks. Still ahead, Dior is giving the meaning to the phrase smooth as a baby's bottom something new. We're going to tell you all about it. The details on a luxury brand's new infant skincare line when we come back here at 9. All right, before we go, the question, would you spend $230 on scented water for infants?
No.
That's the question. Dior is banking on customers saying yes, that they will. The luxury brand has a new skincare line for babies. Its scented water is the priciest item, followed by a $115 moisturizer. The line also includes cleansers for $95 a pop. Dior says the new products are a revamp of their 1970s perfume line that was actually came out for infants back in the 70s. So now they're coming with this water and with this skincare products. Quite pricey. I'm not sure how many people would buy these. I think there will be some who probably will buy these, though.
Yeah, they're pulling out all the stops this Christmas.
They are. They're trying to make sure it's a good Christmas, and there's their ad. Of course, Dior is a brand that a lot of people know, and I guess if you know Dior and you're buying Dior clothes, you would probably buy this as well.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of takers on this.
I think there will be too. Not us, but maybe some others, yeah.
Well, it's Christmas weather out there as we're looking at temperatures into the 50s. We're going to warm up a little bit, almost spring-like by the end of the week with a lot less in the way of clouds. And showers trying to move out of the forecast, making those plans for Thanksgiving week. A little cooler, but still dry.
Still dry. All right. Thanks for joining us here at 9. We'll have more news coming up tonight at 10.